Wave Master asked of the day, like, what's the point in lyricism? What's the point? The point is that nobody can do what I do. Fuck it, let's go. The first person on earth cursed with my secrets, only to regurgitate my work like you were secrets that hurt. But I was never concerned with the lesson. We were immortal, so I was never concerned with the blessing. I called mom like your daughter was gone. She was in shock like I just stepped off the plane. Let me get a hold of your pops and stop. How does she have control of this devil? Wait, I'm reporting. Guess the apple ain't far from the kennel, so now it's just paperwork. Logistics in Philly, identifying the body, recovering all her property, seeing if the mortician perm forced her hair properly. Wait, that part is where it got to me. Fucking where is monotony? This shit is just dumb. Called your phone 20 times saying pick up just once, but it was done. You already took your last breath, so now a picture on the wall, so that's left. Let's go.
It's the hope of every father that
Joaquin, you gotta remember,
their son can do better than they
we'll
ever
always be
did.
family and nothing will ever change
My
that.
mom told me a long time, look after my sister. Joaquin,
I love you.
look after yours.
I love the two of you.
DJ Unique.
Let's cut to the punch. Time for the sequel. Jay only been here for months. Shit. And I thought it would only be once. Children, I gotta thank God that we live in DR. Period. That is none in a million. Now we got a son in the building. As a father, want a daughter to walk the cotillions. But I feel like I'ma fucking get lost in the ceiling. What if cheerleading has lost its appealing? I'm your father, providing is my first task. Trying to juggle changing diapers with the first cast. What if your spine is misaligned too? Mind you, this is how me and Homer designed you. All I ask is that you giving your mother a break. We ain't eating.
By the way, what does redacted mean?
All right, welcome back to Redacted Media. We're bringing the content as long as you mind your motherfucking business. I am Redacted, joined with my co-host
Jake.
Jake is here with us, and we are back again with another breakdown of Stephen King's magnum opus, The Dark Tower. We're on book 5, Wolves of the Calla, and in this book, we're on episode 6. So if you're following along, we're on the 6th one of this book, and it's been a long trip so far.
Yeah.
What a long, strange trip it's been. But you guys are here, coming in late, watching this as a recording. I'd like to let you guys know we go live, so you can participate, jump in chat. Let us know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. If you want to do that, you can always subscribe to the video, subscribe to the podcast, and also turn on notifications. You get those notifications for us. Or you can follow us on social media. Might as well do those plugs here, right?
Right, absolutely.
I really only use Twitter. That's at redacted_posts. And
I'm on Twitter and mostly just Twitter at Mr. Jakey Poo. I'm on TikTok and Tumblr too, but I don't really post there at all.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I'm looking at it too. I'm like, I don't need to create content here. I can just enjoy what's the smorgasbord that's been given to me, But also, if you guys want to contact us directly, join our Discord. We're thinking about doing some live viewings of some kind of content in there. Maybe watching the movie that wouldn't get taken down on YouTube and doing that in Discord. So
yeah, we can just do like a watch party or something.
Yeah, that'd be great. Our Discord is in the bio, link in bio. Go ahead and find all that. We have all our stuff, Don't look for that link, though. It's not in the bio. It is buried deep, okay? Anyways, last time we left off, we were finishing up, chapters 5, 6, and 7, I believe.
Correct.
And it was just a lot of exposition, a lot of world building, a lot of setting the scene.
Yep, getting to know the townsfolk, getting to know just information about everything.
If we had a cleaner break, if I broke these chapters up as they would be episodes on TV, I would have included chapter 8 because I feel like it's in the same vein.
Yeah, that
getting
makes sense.
to know
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
We could have got
the
to
end of
Took's
that
story.
episode.
Yes. I was reading, I was like, man, this kind of fits in more thematically with our last episode, but the fuck ever,
Right.
But so we do start at Took's store, and do you have a summary for us?
I've got a summary.
Let's do it.
All right. Roland and Jake are riding to meet with Eddie and Susanna. They begin to talk about Mia. Roland is aware of how Jake is growing strong in the touch, and Jake is concerned that by keeping the secret of Mia, they've broken their quartet. Roland wants to keep not telling and let Ka handle things, and while Jake accepts this, he definitely thinks it's a cop-out.
Mm-hmm.
They arrive at the Jaffordses to meet with Ed and Sue, and as a group ride towards town together and then split up. Roland goes to the Mannies, and the others go into town. He gives them some spending money and definitely sticks with the gender pay gap. Town gang goes to the general store and, after making some purchases, draws quite the crowd. They sit on the rocking chairs out front and are bombarded with questions. Roland goes to meet with Henchick of the Manny to visit the Cave of the Door. Roland hears voices crying out from inside the cave, and inside is a door that looks like the ones he saw on the beach. However, the handle is made of crystal and will not turn. He's then told that this is where the Manny found Callahan in Black 13 many years ago.
Mm-hmm. All right, I like that.
Yeah.
So we start off this chapter with basically a lot of information about Jake and the touch. It felt like a lot being thrown at us in the beginning.
Jake getting strong.
Jake getting strong. And I wrote down in my notes, fuck it, Jake is Professor X.
Pretty much, yeah.
The fact that he could just be in people's minds without knowing.
Yeah, like when he goes to talk with Roland, he is using, or he's like, "Can I speak with you?"
Dan. Yeah.
Dan.
Yeah.
And Roland's like, "Yeah, but how do you know what that means?"
Mm.
And he's like, "Oh, I pulled it from your mind. I didn't mean to, but like, I just kind of grabbed it."
Yeah, that's
So he's like accidentally knowing things that other people know.
yuck.
Yeah.
Worst superpower ever. I don't want to accidentally pick up on your thoughts, on anybody's thoughts, you know?
Reading your mind, and I can't not do it.
Yeah, sorry. It just, I was attracted to it as it happens, It was interesting to see it portrayed like this, because even in the titular book, The Shining, we don't get that much about it. It's interesting that, I think that the cultural perception of the movie The Shining is that it's about a hotel.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just about a freaky hotel and a really bad dad.
Which that is kind of what Kubrick did. Like in the Zeitgeist defense.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But like the fact that King chose to do this here, that's very interesting, because although we had known, even if you just read The Dark Tower and learned about the Shine or the Touch, whatever it may be, that it's just like I feel like we all might have a touch of it when it comes to like premonitions or like that weird feeling of like deja vu. I feel like that's like the cool thing about it, is that we can all kind of feel like, oh yeah, like I've had feelings like that before. Maybe I have the Shine.
Yeah, like when you kind of feel like somebody's watching you, maybe, and you're like,
Yeah.
So you start looking around like, what's going on?
Yeah, senses that you can't explain, that don't come from, touch, sound, taste, smell, or sight, But I don't know if it's in this book or in the other, but it was some, they were trying to explain what the shot, or what kind of like oh no, what's the word? You have telekinetic and then telepathic, and there's some other like just psychic abilities, right? That we as a species could have had this at one time. Like people that were before the times of, telephone or cross-continental travel, they would have feelings of dread whenever bad things would happen to family members. And it's like, that's an interesting phenomenon. Or like whenever the really weird thing that King brings up is that like in plane crashes, the average like people that don't show up for their flight is so much higher than in planes that don't crash. Like those people just have like bad feelings, they just can't make it that day.
Huh.
It's probably just one of those, like tabloid studies that
It's like weird coincidences.
Yeah, that doesn't mean much, but it's also one of those things that kind of if you're gonna suspend disbelief, let's do it all the way and have some fun, Might as well, if you're gonna write stuff like this or enjoy stuff like this, like what if,
Yeah, absolutely.
I did have some issue with, on the second page, we were talking about how Jake gets words from Roland's mind, and he messes up a word that was something it's not that important, right? But it was he said they picked it up phonetically, and Roland
Oh yeah, yeah, he does.
yes, and Roland
I did think that was weird. Yeah.
thinks back on it. It was telling me where it's Jake spells it basically tell me, and really it's like telling me TELAMEI. And do you think of words phonetically? I do not. I think of the way they are spelled and almost pronounce them that way sometimes.
Yeah. The reason I thought that was weird was because I was like, Roland, you guys are just talking. He doesn't have captions. He doesn't have subtitles. What do you mean? It's
Yeah,
actually
that-
this.
Maybe it's the pronunciation. Tell me.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe he pronounced it tell me instead of like tell me.
Salami.
Salami. It's the worst thing to put on a sandwich. That's all I had. That was my beef with the first 2 pages. So I was like, no, I'll bring it up.
I remember that. I just thought that was weird. But yeah, so Dan, the conversation they have is basically when you like turn difficult problems over to your den, like you speak with your den about them, and like you agree to follow their advice no matter what it is. And like Roland kind of thinks like, well, it's usually love problems. And you're like, but surely Jake Chambers doesn't have love problems. Not unless he'd fallen for that gorgeous Francine Tavery. I'm like,
Weird.
God damn it, Roland.
Weird.
Stop thinking about these fucking twins.
It's weird.
So
It's weird.
I had to I googled the name real quick just to make sure it was one of the Map twins.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was.
And they were like younger than Jake, though, weren't they?
Were they?
Well, they acted younger than Jake.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't yeah, weird as fuck. But yeah, he talks to him, Dan, and basically says like, "Hey, these are my issues, and whatever you say I'll do," which is kind of cool. That I think if anybody like were to, if I was in Roland's position, I'd be like, "Oh, this is kind of dope." I don't think I'd ever ask somebody else like that. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm insecure, or I don't know. Am I egotistical? And I'd be like, "No, I'll take your advice, but ultimately I'm gonna make my own decision." You know?
I wouldn't want to be the den because I wouldn't want that responsibility.
Yeah. And I'd be like, damn, am I just like manipulative? Do I like to meddle in people's shit? Is that why this excites me?
You're just like, yes,
Like,
yes.
oh, yeah, you could do something that would benefit me.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But one thing that Roland points out is like when he's thinking about Jake and the touch is that Jake is stronger than Elaine ever was already.
Mm-hmm. Little showcase.
Oh, there we go.
Look at that.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That stronger than Elaine ever was, and Elaine was trained, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to figure he was trained in Gilead.
Yeah.
So.
And he thinks it's exposure to the rose that is like
Amplifying
basically
him. Yeah.
giving Jake brain steroids.
Yeah.
The rose is Jake's limitless pill.
Okay.
That was really stupid.
No, I'm rocking with it though. I believe that Jake is probably the strongest character in The Shine in any King adaptation.
Yeah.
If you don't want to say, okay, Carrie, his very first book, it's a kind of psychic power. Bitch can control things with her mind, right?
Yeah.
Like, and there's like, you've heard of Firestarter?
Yeah, didn't they just make a movie of that?
I heard it was terrible.
I haven't heard either way. I just remember seeing the poster for it.
Yeah, it had Zac Efron and I don't know who was playing Drew Barrymore's character, but
Amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, now I got to see it.
yeah, I've heard it's really bad. So
I didn't really even hear about it at all until like it was out.
that's another thing they said is that they knew it was bad and didn't advertise for it.
Yeah, like
like,
that's
okay.
always a sign
Yeah.
that a movie's not going to be great. Is
And-
that like you don't know about it until maybe a week before it comes
It's
out.
gonna be out for a 2-weekend premiere. Like, oh no, you don't know. That's all you could buy was 2 weekends. Ugh.
I mean, last time I went to the movies, that movie was only there for 2 days.
The last time I went to the movies, the last 2 times I went to the movies, I saw the same movie. I will give you $20 if you can guess what movie it was. It's the only movie I've ever seen in theater twice.
Can you give me an approximation of how long ago it was?
last year.
Top Gun Maverick.
It was fucking Top Gun Maverick. Both of my parents asked me to go with them to see it in back-to-back weekends.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, sure. The first time I was like, okay, no, I'm not going to have a good time. And I go in, it's a fucking great time. Like,
Hell yeah.
the movie is, you just got to accept it for what it is. You're not going to go in there and come out with any, like, new view on life. But I enjoyed the shit out of it the first time. And then my other parent asked me, and I was like, fuck, I just watched this goddamn movie. But yeah, I'll go. You know, you already bought the tickets.
Right, yeah. It's like, yeah, it's fun. I'll have a fun time with you. Yeah, sure, whatever.
And I went back and had a great fucking time again.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Saw the motherfucker twice. Didn't want to see it once, and had a great. It's like one of the only, like, I put Fast and Furious and like action movies, all the John Wicks and stuff like that, and kind of the same genre of like, they don't offer much. They're just kind of there. Whatever. It might be a good time to watch.
Yeah, they're just fun popcorn flicks.
Yes, and this hit every note that I needed at the time. It was fucking great.
That's awesome.
Only movie I've ever seen in fucking like if I had alarm or trivia. That is one that I would bring up, is that I've seen Top Gun Maverick in theater twice. It's the only movie I've ever seen twice. And my first concert I ever went to was Smash Mouth.
That's amazing.
The one I went to after that, Kid Rock.
That's amazing.
Yo, like, okay, it was early 2000s, okay? And again, it's just parents buying me tickets like, let's go. And I'm like, well, fuck it, this is what we're doing. So, but yeah, that, you know, you can't ever go back and redo your first concert. It's just
Right?
going to be Smash Mouth forever.
Hey, Smash Mouth's a good time.
It was a good time.
Hell yeah,
I had
absolutely.
fun, you know?
Yeah. They're kind of a meme, but they're good with it.
Yeah. What's the worst? How do I phrase this? What band do you feel sucks more, meme band, Nickelback or Smash Mouth?
Sucks more.
Yeah.
I
I don't know if you can even give like Smash Mouth sucks more. That's what I was looking at. Like,
I genuinely enjoy Smash Mouth. So
I genuinely enjoy Nickelback.
yeah,
It's like there's some songs that like it's fun to sing along.
yeah, like they're the.
You tell me you're not through with standing lines to clubs you never get in. No, it felt like you're at the bottom of the ninth and you're never gonna win. Come on, man.
They're like you said. It's like Fast and Furious, but music.
That's
Like,
exactly what it is. And if you,
it's fun popcorn music.
it's great. Like, oh man, I hope to one day be comfortable enough with myself to enjoy that kind of shit and don't care. You know,
Right.
There's a lot of times where I'm a cynic going into like, oh, this is so fucking stupid. Why would I enjoy this? And then something like Top Gun Maverick, I fucking enjoy. It's like, damn it.
He was like, look at this photograph.
Oh man. All right. Tangent.
So part of what like Jake gets frustrated with Roland about is like, you know, his kind of like his willingness for inaction.
Mm-hmm.
And Roland's like, well, that's kind of part of Ka. Like, you just kind of got to let things be and let things play themselves out before you act on them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Jake says the line like that's what people in New York would call a cop out.
And I think this is kind of true to Roland's character though.
Yeah, absolutely.
From God damn it, Wizard and Glass. This is Roland to a T. He's just like, you know, we're just gonna wait. We're just gonna wait and let things happen. And we will. Is he? They said what was Court's complaint about him? He can't think around a corner.
Yeah.
I think that he is a reactionary and very good at it. He is very good at having the second move.
He's very patient.
Yes, and so whenever things happen, he knows how to spring into action and win.
Yeah.
So, but planning and like putting nerves to rest, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen with this guy.
Yeah. Well, so Roland is I can't remember the name of that game. They were talking about a board game in Wizard
Castles.
and Glass. Yeah, where you know the majority of the game is like just kind of setup and preparation, and then whoever takes like the first move almost like loses.
Mm-hmm.
Like the game is very much like getting ready for someone else to make the first move.
Yeah.
And then you then you go.
Yeah.
And that's very Roland, like you said. Like
Definitely.
I didn't really think about it at the time, but that game was basically just telling us how Roland thinks.
that game had no purpose but to serve between him and Jonas, like
Yeah.
what they are doing right now. Oh, it's like this board game,
And just kind of like how Roland has been and will be going forward, I think, probably.
yes, for sure. I had a note
And-
in here.
oh.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and Jake is just also he's kind of being like the typical young protagonist. Like, no, we've got to act on this. We've got to fix it now.
Yeah.
How can we just let something wrong exist?
Mm.
Very, very anime-ish or like RPG-ish kind of thing.
I was thinking just young people in general.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is like he's having like kind of the Luffy One Piece reaction.
Okay.
Like, no, we got to storm in and fix this now.
Yeah. Gen Z reaction. Oh, Jake is technically a boomer.
Oh, he would be.
So is Eddie.
Wait. So
If he-
Jake left in like was it
67 or something, wasn't it?
67?
No.
C-
Was it late 60s or late 70s?
I thought it was early 70s.
Okay, early 70s, sure, because I know Susanna left in 64.
So that would make Jake, if he had never, left, like nowadays he'd be around the same age as our parents.
Boomer.
I thought that
My dad is on the young end of boomers, and he was born in 65.
well, that's not the same year my dad was born. I thought he was like older Gen X, but
Well, how do you look
Yeah,
at it? Young
yeah.
boomer, young older Gen X, whatever. Yeah.
so that's about what Jake would be.
And if Eddie was 20 something in the 80s, that's why they never hint on it. But Jake and Eddie are really, they would have like been in the same grade almost.
Yeah, because
He was 22 and like 83 whenever he was pulled.
I think so, yeah.
So
And then like when Jake is following young Eddie in his time, they state that they're around the same age then.
yeah, and that never gets played on. It always seems like that'd be something interesting for them to play on. Like, oh shit, like you are. He's not just like a younger brother to him. It's like a younger version of himself because they're living roughly the same life.
Yeah.
They had the same experiences. Kennedy was shot while they were both in, well, it'd be like diapers.
Yeah.
So they had the same experiences, but yeah.
Yeah, he tells us like that's basically acting on Ka, like letting Ka do its work.
For sure.
And then so my joke about the pay gap. Roland has this like magic coin purse. He says it's kind of like one of the last few things of magic that he has.
Yeah.
And since he's sending everybody to the general store, he is going to give them some money. He pours 12 coins into Eddie's hand, and then 10 coins into Susanna's hand. And I looked it up. 10 is 83.33% of 12. And according to the Pew Research Center, in 2022, women earned an average of 82% of what men earned. So that's almost exact.
Yeah.
And I know it was like actually worse. Like that was a low 83.33 was not the number back when this was written. But I was like, that is too close to now to not mention because it's just a fun coincidence. Not fun, but
If you want to get like
humorous.
even more on the pay gap, like I hope this doesn't ruin your joke, but Eddie gets gold, she gets silver.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know the exchange rate between
you
gold and
don't,
silver.
yeah, you
so.
never do,
But that's true. He does get gold, she gets silver.
I did have a note before that whenever Jake and Roland are talking about Susanna and that he knows she's pregnant, like, oh, and Roland's like, can you touch her right now? And he's like, yeah, I can reach out and like do whatever. And then like Jake morosely is like, I could probably watch her undress too.
Yeah, I was like, fucking kid.
I put fucking toxic. Like, why are you
Yeah.
thinking about this?
Oh, and then he gives Jake out of his magic coin purse. He gives him like some like gemstones. Like
What the fuck's in here? Let's see.
he's like, okay, you get some gold coins, you get some silver coins. Jake, you got a ruby and an emerald.
That's how you know, like, RPG games haven't been invented yet.
Yeah.
King doesn't know what the fuck to do with currency. I feel like that's if you're writing like a big fantasy, the first thing, or not the first thing, but even if I was like DMing a Dungeons and Dragons game, I would think of how the currency relates. Like, what are we using? What is the going rate? Like, what are the price of shit? What's the economy like?
Right, yeah. And I know that like in the DM manual or whatever, they give you like kind of like some basic items and like what they'd cost.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, since like you said, he gives her 10 silver and Eddie 12 gold.
Yeah.
If we're going by D&D rules, he just gave her 1 gold.
Oh, yeah. That's how a lot of it is. 10 silver is 1 gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. And 10 bronze or 10 whatever is 1 silver, yeah.
D&D
Copper.
does that kind of, so it's like has 10 copper is a silver, 10 silver is a gold, 10 gold is a platinum. But then it also has Electrum.
The fuck is Electrum?
5 gold.
Okay.
Or something like that. Like they just have like one in the middle that doesn't like fit into the scale.
Wonder why do you need like multiple levels? Why not just have all of it be gold? So they don't like you can set price at like 2 gold and then they can loot and get 3 silver and not feel fucking terrible.
I think originally it was probably for like people who wanted to factor in the weight of stuff.
They do that in D&D? You factor in carry weight?
I don't. They do give the weight of items, but I've never played in a game where anybody has cared about that.
That's interesting.
The only time that like carry weight has ever come into like factor for me in one of my games is like when somebody wanted to pick up and carry something huge.
Yeah. Like, can you carry this item?
Yeah.
Is it possible to put this on your back?
Yeah. But for everything else, if you can write it on your sheet, you can carry it. Like,
okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
Right before this whole gender pay gap came about, they say that, who's this talking? It is Callahan saying that Black 13, it might be the way to everywhere and every win. We explore this later in the next chapter.
Yeah.
But what could be but basically they have a power source and something that could function as a time machine.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting thing to throw into this weird out there fucking series, you know, that would you not just teleport straight to the Dark Tower?
Right.
Maybe it exists in a plane that isn't necessarily accessible.
Yeah.
You know, but
I was thinking that I was like, why doesn't Roland just use it to go to the Dark Tower then? Like he's just been given an I win button. And
he could even go to the top floor of the Dark Tower.
Yeah.
You know, and we'll get to all this because we
do have a line about that later.
Adore the next chapter.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, oh my God, this is everything I like about this series. I forgot it all came right here. You know? Like, okay, here we are.
I do have some weird thoughts about the next chapter.
I can't wait. You said you had some theories, right?
Yeah, it either leads to theories or just questions about maybe I misunderstood something.
Need to like blank face,
right?
And prepare to not spoil anything.
So when the gang is at the general store, at first, Took is an asshole.
Yes.
He before they even step foot inside, he screams at Jake to leave Oi out.
Mm-hmm.
He's giving them a hard time the entire time they're shopping until they flash their money at him.
As any good shopkeeper does, really.
Right.
You know, yeah, leave me the fuck alone. Oh, you got money? Bet. Come here.
Yeah.
Let me talk to you.
But even still after that, he calls Susanna slurs.
Yeah.
And she has a badass moment where she grabs his hand and like bends his finger backwards.
Yeah.
Like I think he's like pointing it at her or something. And she grabs and like
it just
bends
goes
it back towards
him.
Towards
just
herself.
actually absolutely cranks on it, and it's like, oh no.
She's like, I'll take that word from an old man who's lost most of his sense. Talking about Grandpa last time, because he said the same thing.
Yeah.
But I won't take it from you. Call me that again, fatso, and I'll pull your tongue out of your head and wipe your ass with it.
How do you feel about racism in fantasy? In fiction. Especially if you're doing a world that you're creating.
If I was creating it?
Well, no. How do you feel about it happening in media that you're consuming? Racism in Game of Thrones. Like, why? You know, but go ahead.
Right. Yeah, like, I'm just like, why do we need it? Like, why does it have to be there? You're making up this world. You added racism to it. Why'd you do that?
even in things like Skyrim, they add in racism in there. It's like this is just an interesting. Why do you want this? I mean,
Yeah, they're like, hey, there's the Empire that sucks because they're an empire, or the group of racist weirdos. Which
It's-
side do you want to join?
before I was quote unquote woke by the way my older relatives would say today, I would side with Stormcloaks just because rebels. Like I'm always
Right,
down
yeah.
like fuck the system,
Yeah,
fuck the emperor.
and
Then I'm like, wait, y'all are racist?
yeah, it's like oh, y'all aren't upset about the Empire. Y'all are upset that it's not Nords.
Yes.
That makes it very uncomfortable.
It's kind of like not liking a president because he's on the other side of the aisle, you know? Like, I wouldn't want to say Obama, but I was like, people that are like down with war crimes, but a Democrat did it, so now they're mad.
Do you fuck with war crimes?
You down with war crimes? Yeah, you know me.
Do you fuck with the war?
Oh, no. Okay.
God, I haven't heard that song forever. The Do You Fuck With the War?
I don't even know it.
Oh.
Okay.
This bitch don't fuck, or this bitch don't know about Pangea.
Oh, yes, by
Yeah,
Lil Dicky,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, when she tells him that like her brother's a soldier, he's like, "Oh, do you fuck with the war?
That's great.
What do you mean? Do I fuck with the war?"
Did you ever watch Lil Dicky's show on Hulu or FX?
I've seen some of it. I haven't sat down and watched all of it, but
It's one that is surprisingly good.
that's the vibe I got from the first episode. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's some things that are tackled in it that are actually kind of like, oh, this is really. It's also very fucking weird. Like Lil Dicky is a strange man
Yes.
that has weird thoughts on comedy and even on music. But I enjoy a lot of his music because he is very talented, very very fucking talented. If you enjoy anybody out there, even you, if you enjoy rap like even a little bit, look up his Breakfast Club freestyle. It's fucking amazing.
I don't think I've seen that one yet.
Oh my
Hell yeah.
god. Oh my god. It's he goes insane. But yeah. So they're at Took's Junior store and then they come out and they get accosted by basically everybody in town, right?
Oh yeah, like there's some people who are already in the store, and they're kind of like scared at first because they're like, oh, these guys are gonna just come in here and like blow anyone away who like gets on their nerves. But then they see them kind of like just shit talk Took, and they're like, oh no, these guys fuck actually. Like
You guys are fucking dope.
yeah. They kind of make an embarrassment out of Took, like while they're buying from him in a very peaceful way, but in a way that is very entertaining to the people.
Yes.
And so after that, they just more people start crowding in, and like must be that people are like spreading word. Like some people have left to tell other people, because like by the time they're done just shopping, there's like 50 people
Yes.
in the store.
Yes.
Which like how big of a general store?
I can't imagine it's that big.
I did not imagine it would be until they said there's 50 people in there. And I'm like, okay, this is
Or it's
bigger
just
than I thought.
fucking packed.
Yeah.
You know, there's just people everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So I'm gonna change chairs because this one's hurting my ass. But while I'm doing that, I want you to think about, maybe even talk about, do you have the personality to haggle? If we lived in a haggling system, could you do it? Like, be honest with yourself, because I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be right back.
All right. While he is gone, my answer is that no, I don't think I would really be able to haggle much. I've been in a few situations where I have been able to like negotiate for things that I'm buying, and I always like clam up, freeze up, like, why would I? Wait, well, no, the price tag says, like you're asking for this price. Why would I try to get it lower? And people are like, oh, you are a. Uh-oh, we're frozen.
Oh shit! Hold on. I'm getting a phone call. That's why.
Oh. Oh, there we go. You just like pop back into existence.
Well, I'm back, guys. I think everything's good. Let's see if I have volume. Technical difficulties. You know, we're bringing you content though.
Boo, boo, doo, doo.
We sound alright though.
Yeah, sounds good. Riveting.
And we're back. All right, cool.
All right.
I just kind of pop up on screen. Ta-da! I am 100% the same. I could not haggle. I hate dickering. I hate being like, no, give me this, give me. And I'm like, ain't no way.
Yeah, like even when I went to go like I bought my most recent car from like a dealership.
Yeah.
And my grandpa is like the master car guy, right?
Yeah.
Like he's like Hephaestus for cars. And so I brought it to him to like check it out or whatever. And he was like, yeah, but ask them to take like 3,000 off.
And it's just like,
And I was like, I can't do that.
yeah, why would they say yes? Why would I? It's like the embarrassment of asking is almost worth more than $3,000. You know, like I'm losing the embarrassment of them saying no. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, and then like car guys expect it. Like they mark it up so that you can negotiate it down and feel like you've won.
I feel like that's lame. Like most things about car culture, I don't like.
Oh, absolutely, I hate it.
I don't like. This is more about just fucking society in general. How many things are abbreviated, and how many things have names that don't make no fucking sense?
Yeah.
Like, if I cannot break down the root word of this name, and like I understand what a carburetor is because I can break down what a carburetor does. You know, I understand what to carburate is to put air into something. So I could figure that out.
Yeah.
But then there's other things that really fucking piss me off about cars. And also if you ever talk to a car person and you don't know exactly like what's underneath your own hood, you're an idiot to them. And I'm like, this car drives me. That's what I use it for.
Yeah, like I bring my car to go get an oil check and they're like, is it 6-cylinder or 4? And I'm like, you tell me, boss.
I don't know.
I brought it here. Like that's my part of the job.
Yeah. Cylinders? Like, where are the cylinders? I don't know.
It's got an engine and it goes vroom and takes you places.
I put unleaded in it. Then oh my god. Okay. I'll talk about cars. How much they piss me off till the fucking cows come home.
Yeah. So no, I would definitely not be in a able to dicker.
Society breaks down, and as a dickering society, I'm gonna be broke.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will be the patsy, not patsy, but whatever it is, somebody takes advantage of. And
I just thought of the scene from Always Sunny where he tries to dicker a guy about like a pear.
The pear, yeah, it's 50 cents. Well, I will not be paying full price. Like I don't got time for this. That's a great episode too.
Yeah,
he eats the pear hole. You ate the whole thing, even the sticker? Yeah, it was gross.
Why'd you eat the sticker? I always eat stickers.
I eat stickers all the time, dude. So in their podcast, they have their own podcast where they break down episodes.
Yeah.
And they're on that episode, the last one I listened to. So they're talking about how much Dennis, the actor who plays Dennis, hated that line because they're like the editors, the producers. They do so much behind the scenes.
Oh
like,
yeah.
You know, even the freestyle comedy that they get in there, like, I don't like this. Let's remove this. And like, I guess the line was supposed to be like, yeah, you scratch, you sniff, you eat. And they just couldn't get through it because how bad it was making Glenn Howerton Dennis like on the sideline, just watching them do this. He's like, this is so fucking stupid. I hate it so much. They couldn't get through it. It was amazing. It's a great show. Watch Always Sunny. That's what I'm gonna sign off every show. Just watch that show. Make it earn some awards.
Absolutely. So now we kind of just leave with them like
being swarmed and mobbed by people, right?
Yeah, like they exit the store. They have some like rocking chairs out on the porch or whatever, and then they sit down and just, and we kind of like fade away while they're just talking to the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Then we hop over to Roland. He is hiking with Hinchik, and
is he a townsperson or one of the Manny folk?
He's one of the Manny.
Okay, I thought he was, but I'm bad at these big cast of characters books. So I'll lose track of them. They don't have something like if it's an audiobook and a particular voice that I can recognize or
right, yeah.
something about them like who the fuck is it? I know Benny Slightman and the elder, Ben the Elder.
Well, and with the Manny, we don't really ever get like a good introduction to them or told like who or what they are. Just
Like,
that they
oh, they're
live-
sitting in the back of the corner. You know, they're all being weird, and then
and like even when Roland initially talked to him, we find out about it after the fact.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh yeah, I talked to him between this chapter and the last chapter.
he hasn't been on screen.
Yeah.
Like, yet. Okay.
Yeah,
That
until
makes
now.
sense. I'm glad because I was confused.
No, it's we don't know really like we don't really know like how they met or decided to go up there or
Mhm.
anything. They're just like, oh yeah, I spoke with Henchik last night and we're gonna go hiking.
Yeah.
And hike they do. They like go up like basically almost a mountain,
Mhm.
and it's very funny. Like we get told about like Roland's perspective of like how rough it is and how much he's sweating and like labored breathing and everything. And then we like cut over to Henchik and he's just like just regular old day hiking up the mountain.
And he's told to be older, like much older than
Yeah.
Roland, right? Yeah, he has like a long beard, like almost down to his waist, I think it says. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. I did. Did you have anything before they reached the cave? So I had some notes.
There's that little bit where they talk about I'm blanking on her name, but the lady that he spoke with through the plates.
Yes. Jaffords.
Yeah, no,
No.
because Jaffords is who Eddie and Susanna were with.
Yeah, you're right. It's fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he gives her the message that she asked him to,
Mm-hmm.
and Hinchik seems like a little sad, and he's like, she'll be damned or something because she left the Manny.
Yeah. Which whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck it. But I did have a one where while they're following up there, he's like, Roland's thinking, you know, like this would be a good place to murder somebody.
Yeah.
One of his thoughts, like, you know, I could get pushed to just be dead here. Like, this is just a bad place.
Yeah, and it could just write it off as an accident, like, oh, he slipped. And it'd be very believable. 'Cause
Yeah.
this place is very steep and hard to climb.
You a fan of taking hikes?
No.
Never.
Look at me.
That's what I was kind of thinking. Like, I could climb up a hill relatively easily. Like, I'm still a little dexterous on my feet, but why? I want to go hike and sweat to see a view that I could get there with, like, a drone.
Right. Now, if I am going, like, I like going on walks, like, around my neighborhood and stuff.
sure.
But I'm not going to, like, go fucking drive out to the country and walk through some hills and shit. Like,
And I think it sounds even less fun with people.
yeah.
I don't want to have, like, friends there and just let's all be sweating and, like, okay, this is terrible.
And, like, trying to have a conversation as we're walking.
Yes.
And, like, you're 5 feet ahead of me. So I'm like,
And it's windy, so I'm like, eh?
and I've got hearing problem. Like, I'm bad at hearing anyways.
Yeah.
Like, auditory processing,
For sure.
whatever. And so, like, if I can't see someone's face while they're talking a lot of the times, I'm like, huh?
Mass destroyed me.
Yeah.
I couldn't read lips. I didn't realize how often I read lips, just to give me a sense of what you're saying. And yeah, masks destroyed me when I was working and I had to be around people that also had to wear masks. Like, I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
This is the worst. I feel like I project like decently well, just naturally. So it's also like kind of a sign of being someone that's like on the verge of being deaf. You know, they're just loud. Someone that's losing their hearing. So, you know, maybe one of these days I'll wake up and not be able to hear. What do you do? Just
Yeah.
bring you more content. But I did have a note
Okay.
that he was saying that if he were to drop or to be pushed off of the edge, that he'd die in a decidedly undramatic fashion. But it wouldn't, he thought. Eddie would carry on in my place, and the other two would follow until they fell. What's the purpose of that line?
Either foreshadowing or Roland just being like, I have faith in my companions.
Is there a chance this is foreshadowing to you? Is there a possibility?
I mean, possibility.
Yeah.
But I kind of don't think so.
Okay. It'd be tough to lose our MC
Yeah.
in book 5 or book 6 or book 7.
Like, some series, like, you can feel like, yeah, it could be possible for this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Stormlight Archive, it's going to be like a 10-book series, but broken into like 2 5-book, like, mini things.
Gotcha.
Like, there's going to be like we don't know yet, but there's going to be like a time gap between books 5 and 6, like a substantial one.
Mhm.
And like, I could easily see, you know, some of the main characters in there, like Kaladin or Dalinar. I could easily see either one of them not making it to the end.
Yeah.
This series, I can't see Roland not making it to the
It's
end.
his quest.
Like, unless it's in like one of the last few chapters
Gotcha. Ooh,
after
yeah.
he's succeeded.
Mm.
But I don't see him dying before it is fulfilled.
Gotcha. Okay.
I could be wrong. Obviously, obviously.
I'm only looking
That's
for
just the vibe.
your thoughts because
Yeah.
I can't have these thoughts, so I can't pose them to myself. So,
I did think about that though.
yeah, it's they kind of hint at that more and more as these books continue. Like Eddie said, like, no, you don't have to like keep us here anymore. No, we're with you. Like,
Yeah.
I think Eddie even says, like, even if you were to die, like, I'd pick it up and keep going because that's our mission now.
I wonder if there will be a point where they think that Roland has died for some
Interesting.
reason.
Yeah.
Um,
Add one more before we get there.
okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. Absolutely.
I like as they enter the caveway. Roland cracks a joke about I don't understand is the cries of the Nara that we're hearing. I don't understand the punchline, but the Manny says, "Speak not in jest, not here, for you are in the presence of the infinite." And that got me right in the mood of the palaver at the Golgotha in book 1.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh boy, here we are. This is something big." And I
Yeah.
was very excited about that. That saying, "Oh my God, you're in the presence of the infinite." Holy fuck.
Yeah. And like inside the cave, there's like as he gets closer to like there's some sort of like drop off that goes down,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, that line paired with like that like steep drop off. If somebody goes down there, I don't think it's like they're going down to the bottom of the mountain or whatever.
No.
I think they're gone. I don't know how or where they're going,
Yeah.
like where they'll land if they land, but like that's not like just a tunnel to like somewhere inside the mountain.
No, if you were to slip and fall down that, it's not a void that you would fall into. Or
Yeah.
it's not a chasm like how Jake fell. We
Yeah.
gotta imagine Jake landed and died, right?
Right. Yeah.
We'd have to imagine that. And yeah, I don't think that's what that is either. There's something down there that's not great. It's calling to you too. It's almost like maybe it's a thinny.
Yeah.
Something like that. Something of the sort, that calls to people, but in a very bad way, because this is definitely the whole honey versus vinegar thing.
Yeah.
This guy's using vinegar. He's like, nah, fuck you, come down here, fuck you, you won't, pussy. Bet you won't.
And as Roland like walks up to that like little drop off cliff thing, he hears like he is hearing like the voices of like his mom begging him not to shoot her, and like other people in his life who have died. And I'm like, part of me is like, oh, the infinite is this like, are these actually their souls after they've passed, or is it just like, some sort of like playing a trick on him, like, Henchik will go up there and hear something completely different, maybe.
I have to imagine that it's for each person. That's
Yeah.
how I interpreted it.
And I'm like, it's probably not like souls that are in there, but like, definitely makes you think that.
Yeah, for sure. That's what it makes. Is definitely what it's trying to get Roland to think. I
Yeah.
think, at least along with his mom and Cordelia and someone else was in there. We have return of the man himself, Walter.
That one surprised me.
Yeah, that he is also.
So it's not just dead; it's like just important voices, maybe, or like things that haunt you.
Yes. Well, yes. He said, well, yeah, I don't remember why I bracketed this off, but it was a trifle upsetting, isn't it? Tittered the voice of Walter from deep in the doorway cave's gullet. Give it over, Roland. Better to give it over and die than discover the room at the top of the dark tower is empty. That's why I bracketed that. I was like, okay, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
We've talked about it either happens later on in these chapters or we've talked about before, different levels of the tower, different planes of the tower, which means, you got to imagine the tower goes straight up, so different levels, whatever, and how they exist on a level of the tower.
Yeah.
And to mean that the top of it, is that just basically like him saying God is dead?
That's kind of what I imagined, is like whoever lives at the top of the tower, the two things that are at the tops of like towers are either like, like a king, a ruler, like someone like, it's the big person, or, like a damsel in distress who's been locked up there.
A flaming eye
Yeah.
or a light to warn airplanes. That's what.
uh, so yeah, I imagine like where the ruler, the one who like sits above all, is
Yeah.
supposed to be. There is no one.
Do you remember what the god of Roland's universe is named?
No, I do not.
The man of white. I don't know if they've introduced it or not. This is a big spoiler. Not. His name is Gan. Like you have the Crimson King, which is supposedly.
I feel like I've heard that name before.
And then Gan, just Gan.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So like maybe that's where he rules on him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did they talk about Gan in it? For some reason, that's
Yes.
when you said Gan. That's where my mind went.
That might have been where it was mentioned. I believe it's in this too. But
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but in the turtle.
I feel like I remember the turtle talking about Gan for some reason.
And that reminds me that saying that the room at the top of the Dark Tower is empty is kind of like saying the turtle is dead.
Yeah.
Between it and now Walter's saying that like what you're working for, it already passed. Like we are past. We're in the apocalypse. Like everything you're trying to help doesn't fucking matter. Yeah.
While they're talking, Henchik asks an interesting question. He says, "Do we say the world will end in fire or in ice, gunslinger?" To which Roland responds, "Neither. I think in darkness." And that got me thinking. I was just like, that is such a more depressing ending than either of those two options.
Yeah.
Just because like everything like fades, everything stops, everything just is gone.
Yeah, that's the worst way for something to end. You know,
Yeah.
like fire, darkness.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. Let me see. And then at one point, I think my dumbass just wrote this quote down. I don't remember what the context was or when he says it. But the eye, Roland says, the eye of the Crimson King, who Roland thinks, bides far east of here in Thunderclap or beyond it. Oh, this is why I wrote it down. I believe he may be a guardian of the Dark Tower. He may even think he owns it.
I have a highlight too, if it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I forgot why until I finished reading it.
Okay. Yeah.
He's saying that about Black 13. He's calling Black 13 the Eye of the Crimson King.
Yes.
But him saying, I believe he may be a guardian of the Dark Tower. But I mean, we know that he's acting against it, right? So like,
he's trying to tear down the beam. Well, is he trying to? We don't have that context in the book yet. In the movie we had the beam breakers,
right?
But we don't have that. Well, we know the Dark Tower's in trouble, and if it were to fall, it would fuck up everything.
Yeah, it'd be darkness spreading to everything.
Yeah, a guardian of the dark. That's interesting. Maybe like a. You play like capture the flag. He's the one that guards the flag.
Yeah.
Like he's not necessarily on defense, but he's on defense. He wants things to be captured and to be done, but he needs to stop this from being taken too.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, he may even think he owns it.
Yeah. Not great.
Maybe he's like, I've taken control of the Dark Tower. It is mine to do with as I please.
Yeah.
And so maybe like what he pleases is tearing it down, and so he is guarding it from, in his mind, guarding it from Roland, who wants to take it from him.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know what the.
It'll be very interesting to get more on that.
Yeah, I don't know how to. Like, what do we? I don't know. I don't know what I want to say.
Right, we're getting to the point where it's hard to say much without.
Well, what is like King's point of like what is this Dark Tower supposed to be? Like does it have? Is it just a keystone? Is it a fucking axis that all worlds turn on? That's what it serves. Is that it holds things together, holds realities from shooting off into the fucking great beyond?
Yeah.
Or does it have a power that could be harnessed by somebody like the Crimson King? Does it have something that can be used? I guess if you want fucking darkness, if a reality is to be thrown, you just tear it down. I don't fucking know. I don't know.
Yeah, it could also just be like, it's a physical representation of everything. Like it is existence.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, that's always the vibe I'd gotten from it. Like even before I had started reading this, that's kind of what I had heard people like kind of talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Dark Tower is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of what holds everything together.
Yes.
it's weird.
Yeah,
All right. So do we have anything else for this chapter?
I'm good. I'm no notes.
Yeah. All right. So Telling Tales, Chapter 9, The Priest's Tale Concluded.
Unfound.
Unfound. Yes. All right. After a harrowing 5 hours of social interaction, Town Gang arrives back to the church and takes a well-deserved nap. Roland shows back up soon, and Rosalita tells him that all the beds are taken, except for hers. Fade to black, wink, wink, and then a few hours later, everybody's waking up for supper. After eating, Callahan jumps back into his story. We find out that he goes to the hospital to see Rowan, who tells him that the guys that beat him near to death, because they were looking for Callahan. So he tells Callahan not to go back to home because they're still looking for him. So Callahan immediately goes back to home and gets nabbed off the street. The Hitler brothers drag him into an abandoned laundromat and tie him up. They begin to carve the swastika in his forehead when the cavalry arrives. Two men show up, but he can't see their faces and doesn't know who they are. They get him out and they chase the brothers off, watching guard until the cops show up to take care of him. Then we kind of fast forward through him being in the hospital and wandering off again until a few months later he winds up in a jail cell in Topeka. He has a seizure in the drunk tank and determines that he needs to clean himself up. As soon as he's released, he finds the local AA, and after another 6 months, it's starting to work. He then flees to Detroit after seeing more signs of the low men hunting for him. In early December, the owner of his new shelter receives a letter from the Sombra Corporation offering them $1 million. Callahan goes with him to the meeting. They arrive at the meeting and are attacked by a group of 15 men, most of which are vampires or low men. The vampires are going to attack Callahan and kill him in a way that will kill him across all worlds. He flees, running through a window and plummeting to the ground below. Callahan blacks out before waking up, and I missed writing some stuff here. I think there was supposed to be a sentence there. Whoops. Callahan blacks out before waking up at the way station that we first encountered Jake at. After looking around for a little bit, Walter shows up and gives Callahan the box with Black 13. He says 2 people just came through here and that in a few years' time, if they're still alive, Callahan will meet them and ultimately kill them. He forces him through the door where he finds himself in the cave that Roland had been before with the same crystal door behind him now. He is weak and unable to move until the Manny find him there and drag him off. Snap back to reality, and it is now after midnight. The old man is tired, so he kind of sums up the rest. They brought him into town, eventually built him to the church where he hid Black 13. He realized he could use it for whatever he wanted, but knows it'll have a bad effect, so he hasn't done it on purpose. Callahan then goes to bed for the night, and everybody else is about to. But before they split up, Susanna tells the group that she thinks she might be pregnant.
Big chapter.
Big chapter.
A lot happens here.
I definitely near the end I started like getting tired of writing.
Yes. That was a long summary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I definitely missed out on some stuff, but yeah, so this is where I kind of want to jump to the end, but let's keep going on.
Yeah, let's go through it.
The sexual banter between Rosalita and Roland sucks. It feels like badly written porn dialogue.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
it was just bad.
It's strange. Do we have an example here? Oh man. Jake, Eddie, and Susanna. Aye, and would you rub me with that magic oil of yours again? Is it rub ye'd be? Aye, rubbed hard or rubbed soft. I've heard a little of both. Pasties is an aching joint.
Yeah, I'm like,
Oh man, I like it.
I was like, that was so dumb. I thought.
It was bad, but they hooked up before this.
I don't think so.
That was
There
that's
was
what
like
worked.
there was some flirting between them when she was
Yeah.
initially rubbing her cat puke on him, but
Yeah.
like no hookup.
How many books has Roland fucked? 2 and 1, just 1 and 1. Oh, and 4 and 5.
Yeah,
We got 3 now.
wait, in one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
did. I
fucked
forgot about
the
that.
barkeep.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't fuck in 2 because he's too sick.
Yeah.
3's he fucks or no, he doesn't. He fucks a demon twice. He fucks a demon in 1.
Yeah, he does.
Fucks a demon and fucks the barkeep.
Yeah.
His roster is not great. All right.
And then we get into the like the backstory proper. Rowan has a twin sister when he's in the Rowan.
Oh. What?
No, that's my fan fiction. Don't worry about it.
Is she as smooth as him? Or does she have the Riz?
But yeah, so Rowan has a twin sister that's in the hospital. She's visiting her brother when Callahan goes to see him.
Yeah.
And she rips Callahan to shreds.
Yeah.
She fucking hates this dude, and she's never met him before.
And
I think she's mostly just like frustrated about what happened to her brother, so she's taking it out on the first person she sees.
Well, do you remember what all happened to him? Like, do you remember how extensive his injuries are?
They're very bad, yeah.
Like, he has both of his eyes taken out.
Yeah.
And like half of his face cut off.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, this is like.
And actually, I think Rowan even says at one point, like after she leaves and he's just talking to Callahan, like, oh, you're the 4th or 5th person she's given that tirade to.
Very.
So it's not personal.
Yeah, she's just mad.
She did hit you and she did tell you you're a piece of shit, but like, it's not just you.
Yeah. If I'm ever in a condition like that, just let it go. Like, don't put me on a life support. Like, no eyes, half my face disfigured.
Yeah, no, my partner and I were actually just talking about that the other day. We were like, yeah, no, if we're like basically dead and the only thing keeping us alive is like a machine, just get rid of it.
I don't. Okay, how do I say this the best way without getting like people to worry about me? I'm not suicide.
But if I happen to die, yeah,
Like, whatever.
yeah, right. Like it's not the worst thing.
The ride's over. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
And like that's another part of that same conversation. We were talking about like, if we get like, really bad cancer or whatever, probably won't do the treatments for it because like
my exact point. Like, I'm not.
we're gonna live a little like maybe 6 months longer and like
my whole family in debt for it.
exactly, yeah,
No,
yeah,
Fuck you.
yeah,
I was like, oh well, I got 6 months. Cool.
yeah. Just toodles all,
Yeah. Make the most of it.
Yeah.
I'd probably be really tired. I'd try to like stay up more. That'd be the worst part, I'd be like, I only get like 3 hours of sleep a night now.
I must consume more content.
So much content.
Sitting there like with your eyes like strapped open, like
I have to watch this. I have to hear every album I've ever wanted to listen to. Watch every movie I've ever wanted to watch.
I have to finish Netflix.
Fuck Netflix. I'm going somewhere else.
I don't know. I have to finish Hulu.
Oh god. Yeah, and that's connected to Disney Plus, so you know where the fuck that ends. Yeah.
I've got all of TLC's extensive reality back catalog on Discovery Plus.
I had one of my friends ask me to download some kind of streaming service to watch a reality show with them.
Yeah?
I'm like, no.
What show?
Oh, it was some Real Housewives of something, or Bachelor or something. It was just
MILF Manor?
maybe. I don't remember what it was, but it was just like
MILF Manor's good.
I'm not watching any of this. I did, however, watch Snowflake Mountain on Netflix. Hilarious.
I have not heard of that one.
It's so dumb. And it's so like it's like these kids don't know how to work without having their iPhone with them. They're like,
Oh,
oh
Christ.
my god, I brought my new Yeezys out to the farm, and it's I like put them on a mountain, and they're like they have to survive, but they have a cabin to live in, and they have to do like challenges where they have to like swim. It's this one girl.
Can these little twinks swing an axe and chop some wood?
I ain't got no blisters on them there hands, man. But it's just
Can they start a fire without wearing mascara?
But the first day, like they like start off and they bring all these kids out because they think it's reality TV, but it's also like very fake. Like you can tell they're hamming it up for the cameras. It's just, they bring these kids out. They're like, oh, we're about to take you on a boat or whatever to go on some cruise or the fuck it is. But it turns out they have to do like a 3-mile hike.
Okay.
And they're all wearing like city clothes, like very much like those girls in heels. There's guys in nice clothes. They're wearing like fur, whatever the fuck it is. But there's one girl, and she's a bigger girl. She falls like 8 times in the first fucking episode.
Oh, man.
Any chance she gets to fall, she just fucking tips over. It's like, oh no. You can tell like this isn't part of the acting. She's just clumsy. You're like, oh no. She just like gets out of the van and falls. Like before they even know that they're supposed to be hiking, she steps out of the van and just like topples over.
She's just a newborn deer. She doesn't know how to use her legs yet.
It was, man. I mean, she ends up becoming like a badass in the show. Like she has a great redemption arc. She's like my favorite character. But the first episode, she is absolutely pathetic, and I fucking love it. It's amazing to watch.
I'll have to check that out.
I think it's like 8 episodes. Actually, I haven't finished because I watched it one day when I was sick, and Joe and I were watching it, and I haven't finished it. Just we stopped watching it one day. But
we've been watching MILF Manor every Sunday as it comes out.
It's like there's moms, but their sons are there, and everybody's hot, right?
So, yeah, the premise of the show is that like, you know, these 8 moms who like maybe their husband has died or they're divorced or whatever, 8 single moms in like their I think early 50s to early 60s, they're all going to this manor and they're like, you know, oh, it's gonna be like a fun dating show or we're dating younger men or whatever, and then they bring them all out and like to reveal the men or whatever, and they like lift the curtain and it's all their sons. And then the sons were like basically told the opposite. They were going to be doing a reality show where they were going to be dating older women. And so they're still trying to date someone from the other side, but also like their mom or their son is here. It's so awkward. And honestly, the worst thing about the show is that like some of it's just kind of boring because like they're too scared to actually do anything.
Really? So like the taboo side of it is actually fucking with them.
Yeah.
It's actually
absolutely.
Okay, that makes it more interesting to me. That it's actually working. It's not like we're supposed to feel all of the weirdness or whatever.
Yeah. Oh no, I realized I had like bumped it earlier, so I was like, I don't want to accidentally knock it over.
All right.
Yeah. So no, it's so fun because like they do things to make it extremely awkward.
Yeah.
Like there's an episode where they have to like all the moms are on table, like laying down on tables like massage tables, blindfolded, and then the sons are all blindfolded as well, and they basically like have to go down the line and give each mom a massage, and then the moms will like, you know, rate them 1 out of 5 or 1 through 5 to like see who the best one is or whatever. Oh, it's so funny.
Freud would love this show.
I've seen so many tweets that are like, R.I.P. Freud, you would have loved MILF Manor.
Honestly, a lot of society today, Freud would be fucking exhilarated to see happening. Being like, oh my god, I was right.
And like, there's so much of the show where you can tell that they didn't really have a budget. They didn't have much of a plan. And you can see them reacting to things as they're filming it. Like there is one mom and son duo who I guess they just didn't like the show. They did not want to be involved after they found out the twist. And so you pretty much don't see them after episode 1. Like they're in a little bit of episode 1, like in the intros, and you just don't see them through episodes 2 and 3 because they're not participating. They're just staying in the manor and just like hanging out doing their own thing. So episode 4, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna do an elimination challenge now." 4 episodes in to send one couple home or one duo home.
They just made that up to get them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then the next episode, they found another mom and son to like bring into the manor.
That's interesting as hell.
It's so funny. And I'm like, you gotta imagine that like behind the scenes, they're like, fuck, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And so like they come up with this game to get rid of those two, and then like they probably have a producer because they're in like some big touristy spot in Mexico. Yeah. So they got like a producer running around to like bars trying to find a family who's vacationing there that's old enough to participate, and being like, "Hey, do you want to be on this show?" Because and when the mom and son came in on the next episode, they also were like, "I don't know what's going on." Like the producers did not really explain it to them either.
It's like, hey, we got a reality show. I need
Like,
you and your mom.
they don't know the premise of the show until they are in the manor meeting the other moms and sons, and the moms and sons explain it to them.
What is are there people trying to hook up?
Trying to, some of them.
Really?
There are 2 of the moms who are incredibly thirsty. Yeah. And all of the sons are like, they're all basically children, and they're scared and intimidated. It's terrible vibes, and I love it so much. I think the youngest was 20 and the oldest was 30. Okay. The 20-year-old is like a 12-year-old. He's also probably my favorite one because he is such a fucking dork. Yeah. He feels like a character from a comedy sketch. Like specifically, like he feels like he's a Tim Robinson, I think you should leave character. Oh, no. But also kind of Morty-ish. Okay. But he is convinced that he has swag. Yeah. He says that he's like, I've got the swag, I've got the suave. Meanwhile, he's got like his hair like is like this, and he's like crazy. Oh, Joey is a precious baby boy. I love him so much.
Oh, that sounds terrible, but great.
You should definitely watch it. I highly recommend it.
I will highly consider this. It sounds.
It's just a 10-episode season. They've done the first 8 episodes so far. It's a fun time.
Oh, it's still coming out.
Yeah, comes out every Sunday.
On what?
I think it's a TLC show, so we were watching it on Discovery Plus.
Okay. Probably on like YouTube TV if I wanted to.
Probably, yeah. I know some people are watching it on Amazon.
All right.
And shout out to Mild Mannered. It's a recap podcast for MILF Manor, where a friend of mine, Andrew, is recording the recap podcast for this show with his mom.
Oh no.
It's hilarious.
Oh, he's the hero we need, but not the one we deserve. God, he'd be down to do that. That's crazy. That'd be such an awkward show to watch with him.
Yep. But they have a fun time making fun of it.
I don't even know. All the wind is out of my sails right now.
So, anyways, Dark Tower.
I didn't even bring this tangent on. It just happened to me.
I don't really even know how we got to. So, as Callahan is telling his story, Eddie keeps finding 19s in it and being like, "Oh, that's a 19. That's a 19." And Callahan's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
They have trains in New York.
19 is just his it's just his trains. But yeah, I just love that. Like, it's such a significant number for these guys, and Callahan's like,
The fuck are you talking about?
"Can you quit talking about that while I'm telling my story?" Like,
Just interrupting.
Yeah.
577. That's up 19.
he's like, "Can you stop, please?"
What are you talking about? Oh god. That's great.
When the Hitler brothers find Callahan, these dudes, specifically the smaller one, that is his favorite form of attacking this man. He is turning his testicles into jelly.
Yes, the line he was referencing is Lenny has reached between his legs, seized his testicles, and squeezed them violently together. The pain is immediate and enormous, a swelling sickness like liquid lead.
Yeah.
What a swelling sickness like liquid lead.
And he keeps doing it, and
Over
so
and over
Callahan
again.
keeps talking about it,
Yeah.
and it made me want to die.
Oh, man, that shit. Oof.
Yeah, so they take him into like this abandoned laundromat, basically. And they tie him up, and they're torturing him, and they are arguing about who gets to cut the swastika into his face.
I like that. I like the reference to my submission.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. Like, yeah, he calls them Lenny and George.
Yeah.
The small one's Lenny, and the big one's George.
Yeah.
And there's a line where he realizes, like, oh, the big one's actually the smart one who's in charge.
Yeah.
He's like, it's not how Steinbeck would have wrote it, but okay.
Steinbeck would have been,
Oh, like, is that what's really going through your head right now, Father Callahan? Like, come on.
No, this feels like King just commenting
Yeah.
from in his comfy chair, not being tortured in the laundromat.
Yeah. It's not how Steinbeck would have wrote it, but okay.
I actually kind of like the relationship of the bigger guy being the leader
Yeah.
and the little guy kind of being like a little fucking dog yapping at everything. And
Yeah.
Like, needs to be calmed down.
Oh, yeah. If these guys weren't, racist, they'd be like fun bad guys.
Yes. Oh, I think all racist. I mean, they're also murderers.
Yeah. Yeah, like,
they're just like robbers. Yeah, sure.
yeah.
We can talk.
Like if you just like saw these two, without all the Hitler stuff and the racism and that as just like these are two goons working for like two goons working for the Riddler or something.
Yeah.
Like they'd be really fun. Like
Yes.
they're a fun dynamic, except for the Hitler stuff and the racism.
Except for what they're for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ideologies. Jake's on his Kanye choice. Okay?
No.
He loves the Hitler brothers.
No. No. So, anyways, he gets rescued by
The cavalry.
the cavalry.
The Calvinry.
Well,
Mm.
they're like shining bright lights in there, and they like point a gun at the guys, basically tell them like drop your pants and run away.
What was the point of that?
Maybe so they couldn't like, I don't know, like to embarrass them or whatever. Like
Also easy to spot.
easy to spot. Make it where they wouldn't want to like stick around because they want to go hide somewhere because they don't have their pants on. I don't know. Maybe like, can't think of the word, but like, I mean, you tell a guy to run around in his underwear, you're stripping him of his power a little bit just because
Oh, for sure. And it's
you're
like,
demoralizing him. There we go.
Roland like commendates Eddie on fighting in naked at Balazar's.
Yeah.
He's like, not many men can do what you just did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Eddie's out here, nuts and butts out, and killing people. So yeah, he's the truth. Eddie's the man.
And then since I've got these bright lights, Callahan, he's already like his vision's kind of blurry and stuff, so he can't really make out who they are. And he asks them like, like who are you? And the guy's like, I think it's better if you don't know. I hope to meet you again in a better situation. Yeah. And as far as we know, that doesn't ever come up again. He's not going to happen unless he somehow ends up in Roland's world. Or that, yeah. It was kind of weird. Just the like, oh, you probably shouldn't know who I am.
Yeah, why? Well, I don't know. It has the feeling of a trope in a genre that I don't want to get into because it feels like a spoiler. So there's a genre out there that I feel like this is kind of a trope of.
Like my initial thought was kind of like superheroes and vigilantes kind of thing, but like if you're gonna do that, why not just wear a mask? Yeah. Or why be like, I want to meet you again, but in a different situation. Yeah, for sure. It feels like a weird like oh, so you're gonna know that you saved me from this, but I don't know who you are. That's weird. Yeah. Oh, but now I want to know about that genre. I want to have to try and keep that in mind. Since you said it's a spoiler. He does notice, though, that the guy is wearing, like, this fancy signet ring that has the words Ex Libris written on the side. Which, I looked up what that meant. It's from Latin, and it kind of means from the books of. It's also a term for, like, a book plate in a book. So I was like, okay, so, I mean, Libris makes sense.
Yeah, for who we find out these guys are.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over the extent of what happened to Callahan, all his injuries. Do we remember? Broke his jaw.
Yeah, broke his jaw in
4 places, right?
Yeah, and then later we get like Roland saying like, oh, when Callahan like smiled or something, he could see that it was unbalanced and like, oh yeah, that you're right. They did break your jaw.
And we get the explanation of the T on his forehead.
Yeah, we I think he had alluded to that when it first happened.
That it's not a cross, but he'll kind of rock with it as it's there. Like,
yeah,
okay, if you want to think this is a cross, like, sure.
Yeah, like earlier in the book, he was like, yeah, the Hitler brothers gave it to me. That tried to be a swastika, but they didn't get to finish the job, so we never knew why they didn't get to.
Yeah,
that's why.
And I mean, definitely.
And later on, when he's like in the I think it's when he's in the prison in Topeka. He says that it's like the mark of Cain on his head.
Have you seen Inglourious Basterds?
I have not actually.
Really?
Yeah.
You should watch it.
I've heard it's pretty good.
If you can deal with a Tarantino movie and what it is.
Yeah.
It's very good. The Apaches, not the Apaches. Brad Pitt, for some reason he plays an Apache Indian. He's just from like Appalachia. But he like takes on like the moniker of the Apache.
Okay.
Okay, whatever. But if he knocks it that he doesn't kill, he carves a swastika in the forehead, like just as the Hitler brothers are doing.
Yeah.
And the way they show that in this movie is like, oh my god, this looks fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Just thinking about this for Calla, like, yeah, gross.
Yeah.
So I just enjoyed a lot of this chapter. I did not take much notes, so you're the engine here.
Okay.
And I will just kind of comment as I can.
I put this down. There's a loose league of association between the vampires and the low men. I think if you traced it back, you'd find the roots of their association in the Dark Land, in Thunderclap. I wrote that down because it plays into one of my notes later. So we'll keep that in mind. Okay. Because I put on here, I don't know if this is necessarily true, because this was just Callahan's thoughts. Yeah. Then we find out after Callahan and the new place he's at got that letter from Sombra Corporation. It's incorporated. It was a company that was incorporated in the Bahamas, in Nassau specifically, which is where Eddie did his drug run. Yeah. And so he's like, coincidence? I mean, probably not, because coincidences aren't allowed to exist anymore.
No. I did notice that on the invite that they got from Sombra Corporation, they were supposed to meet at the place in December 19th, 420.
Hey.
12/19 at 420 adds up to 19.
Wait.
The math in my book. 121942.
That's what I was trying to figure out why 420.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
Well, I wondered even with the year. I was like, I don't remember what year it is, but I think he said something like 83, 84.
I think so. Yeah, that sounds
I
right.
did the math in my head. I was like, okay, I put 83 with a question mark. And I was like, no, that's wrong. So I just did the straight up. And yeah, 19.
I was trying to figure out how the 420 fit in there because I was like, he wouldn't give us that specific time, unless it played into a 19, but I just wasn't seeing it.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your work there.
The very first note I've taken in this chapter was that. I didn't put anything in my book before that. I was like, I gotta do this math. I gotta sit here and do it.
It's kind of fun. 119 playing into another.
Yeah, they have 19 in it, and it also helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, when he gets into that room and is like swarmed by all the guys, there's 3 low men, 9 type 3 vampires, and another man. And Callahan doesn't know how, but he knows that this guy's name is Sayer. His face has a lean and foxy look, full of intelligence and dark humor. On his brow is a red circle of blood that seems neither to ooze nor to clot. So he's just got fresh blood pooled in like a dot on his forehead. Yeah. And at first, when like they said that there was another man there, I was like, okay, well, this is gonna be Walter. But then, okay, this is not Walter. And something that happens later makes me like double sure it's not just another name for Walter. Like sometimes happens.
Sayer is
Yeah.
I did want to say that as they were going up to the room, they took the elevator up to like the 33rd floor. There was no 19s there. However, there was a secretary. If you're a man, you can almost believe if you're allowed to touch her breast, you'd live forever.
Yeah, I was like, I just read that and I was like, okay, sure.
I love it. Oh yeah, I mean, just great rack on this lady because we need to know that.
Right, yeah.
This section, we need to know. The
Yeah,
secretary,
it's very plot relevant.
fantastic tits.
No, you're good. Yeah, so he's like the 2 guys that he's with, they both get like someone stabs them with like a stun baton and knocks them out. And then he's like, these vampires all have the AIDS virus, and so they're gonna give it to you like we gave it to your friend.
I definitely don't like the fact that AIDS kills you in all realities.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck was that?
That feels very. If there's a word for like being just what's it called? Not racist. What would that be called? Being prejudiced against somebody with AIDS. Like that's what's happening right here.
Right. Yeah.
Where it's like I know there was a scare and all that. Like that's the time. This book was written in like '99, so it was probably pretty much at the end.
And it came out in 2003, I think, right?
This book?
Yeah, came out in 2003, and the next 2 came out in 2004, right?
God damn, really?
Yeah, I know the last 3 all came out like within a year.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he just like bam, bam, bam.
Okay. I didn't know it was that recent. Okay.
Well,
99, but that's fine.
because I was looking it up when I was taking my notes yesterday, because I was also in a Discord call with some friends, and I remember looking up the release dates because I knew the last 2 came out like within a year of each other. And then this one came out like the year before, like November the year before the last 2 came out.
Yeah. Copyright 2003.
Nice.
So?
I mean, since the way books.
I don't know why I thought it was 1999. I was, you know what? I know why. Never mind.
That's when he got hit.
So I got hit. That's the year that was significant in his life. That was 99.
So he probably got a lot of writing done while he was recuperating.
I mean, the man still puts out like 3 novels a year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
How can you add to that?
Yeah.
I don't even know. He has to do nothing else but read and write. Like that is literally his life. Is
Yeah.
reading and writing. Like even talking about like Sanderson talks. He writes for multiple hours a day, right?
Oh yeah, he treats it like a 9 to 5 almost. Like where he just like 4 days of the week he is writing like he's at a 9 to 5, except he gets to set his own schedule, so it's more of like a second shift / third shift thing. Cause
That's the sleep schedule everybody's comfortable on.
Yeah,
Everybody's comfortable with waking up at 10.
yeah. Like
You know?
he I think I don't know. He put like a breakdown of his like typical day one time, and like it's like 4 hours in the typical afternoon, then or in the like early to late afternoon, then like he takes a little bit of a break for like supper time, hanging out with kids after school, and then goes back and writes until like 2 in the morning or something. And then one day out of the week is like meetings and social media stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, no, he just turns them out, man.
Craziness.
Yeah.
Being that level of author is just absolutely insane to me.
And like the part that's most insane to me is that like it doesn't cause burnout because writing is what he does to relax. I'm like, God damn, dude. Like he takes breaks from writing to write some more.
To write something else.
Yeah, like
okay, I'm gonna take a break from this story or this set of stories. Write a new one that I just came up with.
he's like, oh, I had an idea for a novella, so I took a little bit of break from writing this, and then I wrote a whole novel.
That novella turned into a novel.
Yeah.
Which will actually have a part 2 coming out next year.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Or like he'll write a whole novella while he's on a plane ride somewhere.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Just churn it out.
Yeah.
Then we got George R. R. Martin. Fucking bitch. He really has not released a book in almost 10 years.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem interested in it. Like it's just not what he wants to do anymore.
Elden Ring was good though.
Yeah.
I appreciate his input in that. Whatever he did to make that game was amazing.
Whoever is responsible for Pope Turtle is
Pope Turtle was the man.
Yeah. I've never played the game, but I do love Pope Turtle.
Pope Turtle's great. You're just there, hanging out.
Yeah.
He can teach you a spell if you gave him some stuff.
Hell yeah.
Other than that,
And
you can kill him if you want, but you know.
why would you do that? Yeah. And Alexander. Like, why would you kill Alexander? Potman.
Oh, the in the game in Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, the pot guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't kill him.
Yeah. Like why would you kill either of them?
And there's even like random turtles that are just like regular NPC like enemies, mobs.
Yeah.
You can kill them, but it takes forever. It's like definitely not worth it.
Yeah.
Like, why are you doing this? 'Cause, like you hit them and they go in their shell, so it's super hard to fucking hit them.
So you're basically just doing chip damage.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it takes forever, and they don't give you like any reward. It's like as much as killing a random mob of just chickens or whatever the fuck it is, you know.
Yeah.
It's like you're just being a dick. The game wanted you like, hey, don't kill these. Don't be an asshole. Turtles are cool. Okay.
Yeah. They're not gonna fight you. They're just gonna walk around and be cute. Like.
Did you send me the TikTok about the turtles and why they didn't get named until like the late 1800s, or did I find that organically?
That was not me.
Okay, so it was that in order for a species to be like cataloged as and to be named and to be like put into the books, it had to have a live specimen, or not a live specimen, but some specimen brought back to Britain so it could be examined and named. Like that was the whole thing, right?
Okay.
And they could never get turtles back because they tasted too good. That every time people tried to bring them back, they just ended up eating them. They were too like portable of a food source because they don't take much.
They come with their own bowl.
They come with their own bowl. They're delicious, I guess. I've never had a turtle.
Me neither.
That's like really that was like they had major issues getting these things taken back to Britain in one piece without somebody like nibbling on it.
Wow, that's
Which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks for the turtles, but you know,
yeah.
it was like the Galapagos tortoise, which is like a big one. That there was people that
Yeah, those fuckers are huge.
and that was one of the ones that they just kept on trying to bring back when people were on ships and like, I mean, we got this.
Yeah.
You know, salted meat for the 15th day in a row, or you know, fresh tortuga.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was like, holy shit, this is fucking cool.
That is pretty wild. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Oh yeah. So now after Callahan after they tell him that they're gonna kill him, he's like, well, I don't want to give them the satisfaction of being the ones that kill me. So he starts running, and really the only way he sees out is like through the window. Uh-oh.
Motherfucker. I gotta block that number. We're back. Don't worry about it. It kept our audio.
Yeah, so yeah, he starts running, and like the only way he sees out is like to jump through a window.
Big, what's it called? Symmetry. Kind of symmetry? Definitely similarities between this and the stand right here.
Yeah.
It's a character that leaves being in a bad place by jumping out of the window. And I was like, oh, this is badass. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I found it like particularly funny because as he's running towards it, he thinks like, oh no, that it probably has like the anti-suicide glass. Like it's not going to let me just shoulder check through it unless I believe hard enough.
Yeah.
And so he believes hard enough. Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yes.
I was in my head. I was like, I know that I've seen a movie or a TV show or something where somebody tries this and they just run into one of those windows and just bounces off of it. And I was kind of imagining that happening.
Well, it sounds like the platform 9 3/4 from Harry Potter to me. That don't you have to believe or something, or do you have to hit it at the right fucking time? I don't remember.
I don't remember. Yeah.
I don't remember the intricacies of a turf's world, but
I don't remember there being anything about like having to believe.
Yeah.
Just that like as he was doing it, he thought he was gonna run into the wall because like he was like, this isn't gonna work. I'm walking towards a wall. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I remember him freaking out, but I can't remember if there was any more rules to it than that.
I do remember something you're talking about with like you have to believe to get through something, and it doesn't work for people.
Yeah.
That sounds vaguely familiar too.
But no, whatever I was watching, it was a straight up comedy, and like the guy just is gonna jump out the window, and he like runs into it and just like boonk, bounces off. So I was kind of imagining that happening here, and I thought that would be very funny. It would not be thematically fitting, but it would have been really funny.
It would have been great.
So yeah, he falls and he plummets towards the ground, and at some point he loses consciousness, and when he wakes up, he is at the way station.
Okay, thematically fitting. You just caused me to think of something that would have been funny.
Okay.
So he bumps off of the window, right? But he still has to like die and get to the way safe and everything. Next thing you know, Roland, Jake, and Eddie come to the door, just fucking bananas. Just out of fucking nowhere. Like, what the fuck?
It's like, you all saved me, so I had to make sure to tell you the story so that you could use Black 13 to go back and save me.
I mean, that'd be the worst use of this fucking crystal.
We have to show up just so we can kill him and then leave.
Just fucking mow down the whole room, including Callahan. Like,
Including Callahan, because if you don't kill him, then he doesn't come here, so he can't tell you to.
So you can't. Oh God, I think.
It's like you have to go back in time and kill me, or it creates a time loop.
Now you must kill me now, so I do not continue on. I could make the worst adaptation of this series of all time by changing little things like that.
just make Dark Tower a straight up comedy. Like
oh no.
The entire show is just oddball wacky comedy. Like hire Tim and Eric to write it.
Oh my God. And just things where they shouldn't be. I mean, just, high tension scene, no way out, fucking Deus Ex Machina of just bah, 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 bah. You know what I'm saying? You'll thank me later. Fucking leave. Oh man, I'd write like Henry coming back and him somehow being here too. Like he survived, even though he got his head cut off with Eddie, and he'd be like, "Oh no, my brother! I'm happy here working on the Calla." It'd be terrible.
Absolutely. So like he kind of walks around. He finds like the water machine that Jake used to get water for Roland, and he sees two like basically dots walking away in the horizon, And then Walter shows up and he's like, "Oh yeah, those guys, they're actually chasing me, but I had to circle back around."
Yeah.
Which is very Looney Tunes to me. I loved it. He's like, "Oh yeah, they're actually chasing me. They don't know I'm back here."
So, Dirk Tarplower brought up the fact that if this is turned into a series, we don't get much screen time for the Man in Black.
Yeah.
And I think it can be written in other places, but I also think that scenes like this need to be included and maybe even expanded a little bit, because I love everything that's happening here with Walter.
Yeah.
And this is so good. Him even calling him Fada and all that. Like, did you audiobook or did you read it?
I read it.
Okay. Pretty good in the audiobook. I remember it. I haven't
Good.
listened to it in a while, but man. Sorry about that. But yeah, that shit. If it were to come to screen anytime soon, we need him to be maybe some stories, pieced together and rearranged. Maybe some roles given to the actor that's playing Walter to keep him,
Yeah.
getting money during the 8 episodes he's not in.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. So Callahan is like, or Walter is telling Callahan like, I'm going to kill them, but if somehow they survive, you're gonna do it for me. I'm gonna send them to you, and like, you're not gonna mean to kill them, but you will.
Yeah.
And I wrote down a kind of a whole little talk here. He says, "I don't think you'll be able to kill him," Callahan tells Walter, who says, "That's Caw's business, not mine." And when Callahan responds, "Suppose he's above Caw?" Walter is horrified. "No one's above Caw, false priest," he says, "and the room at the top of the tower is empty. I know it is." I'm like, okay, so we have that again. And then we also have like Walter kind of gives us his perception of himself. He says, he has a line, "I am what Caw and the king and the tower have made me." I'm like, oh, okay. King's capitalized.
King or Crimson King?
Probably Crimson King, but it's fun to think of both,
Yeah.
And then, so part of my theories, or maybe I just read things wrong. So Walter is working for the Crimson King, and he wants Callahan here so that he can give him Black 13 and put him in a position to intercept Roland, basically give him Black 13. The low men are working for the Crimson King. They want to permanently kill Callahan across all realities. These things do not mesh. And so I'm like, is Sayer's faction, I don't know, faction maybe, but is Sayer working against the Crimson King? Is Walter working against the Crimson King?
I look at it as, if in the hierarchy, I believe that Walter is higher than Sayer.
Probably, yeah.
So I think that his orders might come more direct. And I think that the Lowmen's issue with Callahan is personal.
Yeah.
He's killed too many Type 3 vampires. Like, he's fucked up too many of our plans. So this is not necessarily... They're agents of the Crimson King. I don't know if the order came down from the top to kill this fucking mortal.
Okay.
You know, just a random-ass dude in some version of New York. Like, nah, fuck you. You've killed too many people across too many realities. That's just you. That's just Callahan Prime. You know?
Okay.
So that's how I kind of viewed it, like, make it make sense.
Yeah.
Because we got to imagine, I don't think Callahan died in the street before he came to the way station. I think he was zapped out with Man in Black. Like,
Okay.
he didn't experience his death where Jake did. That's my only real drawback there.
Yeah. Though, I guess I was thinking of it as like, if you did do that, you would pass out before you hit the ground.
Is that true?
I think so.
Okay. It's a great way to go then.
Yeah, right.
Like honestly, like you get some cuts from the glass, but
Yeah, like
am I gonna pass out before like the bad things happen? It's just gonna be a ride.
yeah,
I can do that.
yeah. Especially if you just do it from like the top of the building, you don't have to go through the window and cut yourself.
I'm not suicidal, guys.
I'm not suicidal. It's just like if it happened,
Like, that's a great way to die.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna be unconscious.
And you get to fuck up someone's day.
Oh man, I hope I just fucking splat like a water balloon full of SpaghettiOs.
Whoever, multiple people, you are traumatizing for life.
I hope it's a piece of shit.
Emotional damage.
Emotions. Yeah. I did have a line in here that says the Crimson King as he looks down from his place in the Dark Tower. That's what the eye reminds me of.
Yeah.
So he's in the Dark Tower, and he has breached the doors, at least in Callahan's mind, in what is being written. You know that we have not. That's like one of Roland's goals is to the doors will yield to me. They will.
Yeah.
They will open for me. That's like part of the whole fucking thing. Now we're talking about the room at the top of the Dark Tower, so there's pun intended levels to the shit. You know that there are things that where the fuck the Crimson King is, he has penetrated the Dark Tower and now looks around like the Eye of Sauron, basically.
Yeah.
He's not gonna be at the top like the Eye of Sauron, right? Like that's not gonna be like the ultimate battle, and Roland has to throw his guns into lava, and we're all good.
I mean, maybe he's made his way to the top, and like before he can do anything with it, Roland meets him there, and then it's like Sabretooth and Wolverine and X-Men on top of the
That'd be great. That'd be amazing.
final showdown is just like on top of the giant tower.
Yo, the tower being the Statue of Liberty would be so fucking early 2000s. Like,
That would be fucking hilarious.
Like if this was made into a movie in 2003, it would probably happen.
Yeah.
You know? Ah, goodness.
Something about like the way Walter has always kind of interacted with Roland, and the way he interacts with Callahan here, though, is kind of made me think like something's up. He's not really like. It feels like he's really not trying to stop Roland. At most, he tries to like dissuade him.
To me, it feels like a train on a track with a destination, and Walter's like, "You shouldn't be doing this. You should get off this train. You should do something different."
Yeah.
You know, where he can't stop the train. He's not the conductor, but he's like, "I'm over here and look at this." You know, maybe try to get something like Blaine to fuck him up. They overcome that. Callahan's gonna try to kill him. He might overcome that. You know, he want him to die. He want them both to die, but Roland obviously is an asshole, and Jake drop instead of them both dropping.
Yeah.
So.
And like, part of me kind of feels like he didn't give Callahan Black 13 to kill Roland, but it's kind of like, I'm gonna plant this seed, and like that way he can like, because Roland's gonna use it as a tool. Like it's not gonna kill him. He's gonna use it as a tool.
What is it a Robert Frost poem? My first thought was he lied in every word. Something like that. He gets referenced later in the Dark Tower if it hasn't been already.
Yeah.
It's about the man flag. That's how King uses it, you know. So this could be a lie.
True.
Like,
yeah.
Okay, here's this fucking evil thing that we don't really have any use for. If the Crimson King has already breached the Dark Tower, like they don't really like whatever. He's fucking there.
Yeah.
You know, he's just got to solve whatever fucking Blaine puzzle he has up there to do whatever, you know.
Yeah.
He has to grind mobs until he's high enough level to take on the bad guy.
Yeah, and so maybe
he doesn't need the bins of the back.
Yeah, maybe the Man in Black is just like throwing the mobs to Roland to help him power level, pretending that he's like trying to kill him.
You think that the Man in Black might like secretly be a helper of our protagonist? Yeah,
or like maybe not necessarily a helper of our protagonists, but a detractor from the Crimson King.
I like that. That's an interesting take.
Because I'm like these aren't the actions of somebody who's like, I must kill him, I must stop him.
So in Dark Tower Palaver, the other podcast I talk about a lot, there's one of the guys that loves Walter and Randall Flagg from The Stand, and they're not bad guys. They just have motives that aren't great, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so you're kind of following that without any me pushing that way. I'm like, okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah, I'm like, his motives definitely don't feel like they are help the Crimson King succeed.
He's more like, all right, Roland, like, come on, bro. Like, let's
Yeah,
give up the tower. We'll talk forever.
I'm like, there's something else there.
Yes.
Either that, or he's really, really inept and bad at his job.
Or he's just kind of an asshole and just does fun things that make him have fun.
Yeah, like,
Just fucks with people.
yeah, it's either like he's bad at his job, or he's against the Crimson King, or he's just never really tried because he doesn't take Roland to be a threat.
I don't see the red flag we meet in the stand does not seem to be subservient to anybody.
Yeah.
And if these are the same characters as we're supposed to interpret it as, I don't know how much has been told here, so only you've experienced with, so you might be able to speak on that. I don't see him as an agent of the Crimson King. He is his own guy.
Yeah.
With his own motives, his own thoughts, feelings, and desires. That just taking. He does say he's what the king and Ka and fucking the tower have made him. I don't know.
Yeah. And like I think it said somewhere earlier that he's like the right hand man of the king.
Yeah. Interesting. I don't see him like bending the knee per se to anybody.
Yeah.
Because I guess he could play it. He fucking betrayed goddamn Roland's dad in Gilead.
Yeah.
As being one of the right hand men.
Yeah.
So.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
What's that from?
I have no idea. I say it a lot though.
That's great. I love it. Yeah, it's like poetry. It rhymes. Anytime someone's getting like technical in storytelling or just any type of great profound thought, yeah, it's like poetry. It rhymes. Take the wool right out from underneath them. All right. I had a line here that whenever Callahan says he goes Todash twice more, and he goes back to the Shoes, Mexico.
Yeah, he goes to see like the characters from Salem's Lot at like kind of the end of their journey, basically. Like the Ben Mears, I think was his name, Ben Mears.
And Benny Schwartzman, something like that.
Yeah, he goes to see like he's at Ben Mears' funeral. Oh no. Up until like a minute or two ago, the lights were on.
Yeah. I think I just bumped it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So they're at Ben Mears' funeral, and like he sees, who was the little kid, and it's like, oh, he's all grown up now.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I think he's doing all right. And so like he finds some peace about that.
Yeah. And it's cool because we don't really ever get to see if they were successful in their last like time, because they leave Los Zapatos to go back to Maine to take out these fucking packs of vampires that are just like roaming the Maine countryside.
Yeah.
We don't even get to see if they're successful. Like that's
I mean, all we know is that they made it back to Los Zapatos.
Yeah.
We don't know if that's what killed Ben, or if this is years and years later.
I didn't even think about that. I think it's years and years later.
Yeah.
Because I believe it's like his. Oh man, I don't remember.
Yeah, because I think, the kid was still kind of younger.
Yeah,
I said earlier.
Because he had like just joined the priesthood whenever in the beginning of Salem's Lot.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I don't know, it's right there. If I'm looking. I also had another part highlighted whenever we come back to talking. It's just Eddie being Eddie, and I love these parts, so I'm gonna highlight it. Cry pardon, Roland said, with a faint smile. Such humor as I have turns in early. Mine stays up all night, Eddie says brightly. Keeps me awake, tells me jokes. Knock, knock. Who's there? Icy. Icy who? I see your underwear. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Is it out of your system? Roland asked when he had finished.
I love that. It's like Eddie sat still too long.
Yeah, he definitely is this like, oh my god, I gotta get. I'm fucking. I need to do something.
Yeah. Eddie has ADHD.
Oh man, yeah. Eddie would do great with like these non-conventional seatings they have in classrooms now. Of like, you heard of these?
No, what do
They
you
have
mean?
like bands and shit where you can like, basically you put your feet in there and you can stretch them.
Like
It's like an exercise band, but
Yeah,
you
like
wrap it
a-
around like the bottle and you can do that. And you have like balance desks and shit like that. Like a whole bunch of like non-conventional seating. It's fucking awesome.
Oh, my ass would be falling over and like spilling things off my desk all the time.
For the bigger gentleman among us, no, it's not for us. I was thinking more like elementary school kids.
Yeah. Well, I just mean like even
even
like even when I was in school, like
Yeah.
I'm so uncoordinated. Like if the desk was like moving around and rotating like that, I would be falling out of it. My stuff would be falling off the desk.
I used to purposely fall out of desks in elementary school to get a laugh.
Yeah.
I just like fall out like eat shit like hard like.
That's amazing, actually.
Yeah. I always wanted attention. I'm desperate. But that is my last note, and we went on a high note about Eddie being an idiot. And
I have one more note.
oh,
So, after he finishes telling his story, they're talking about Black 13, and he it's kind of when he says you could use it to go to any when and anywhere, and he's like, I could even.
Oh shit! I did have that highlighted. Good.
I could go back. He's like, I thought about like I could go back and stop the death of JFK, change history. And so then I immediately went and looked up when did 11/22/63 come out.
Or just not far after this, right?
Like about 10 years.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
Like 2013.
I think so. I think it was 14.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was like, I wonder, if he had it in mind all those years ago, doing a story like that, or
He has an afterwards in 11/22/63, and he
Yeah.
had this idea before it became the 70s of going back and stopping JFK's assassination in like 69. He's like, this would be a great book to write.
yeah,
And this is the exact premise of the book that he lays out right here, and I'll read it for just shits and giggles, right? Why don't you stand in front of that door with a box in your arms and think Dallas, November 22nd, 1963? Because if you do that, the door will open and you can go there, just like the man in the Wells story of the time machine. And perhaps you could change what happened that day. If there was ever a watershed moment in American life, that was it. Change that, change everything that came after it. Vietnam, the race riots, everything. That might be word for word the pitch that the man gives our main character in 11/22/63.
yeah,
Like saying watershed moment and the race riots, Vietnam, all that is, I mean, it was flashbacks for me. I was like, holy shit, that's the book.
yeah,
and they even kind of go into there about like what if you go back and you change it and it's not great, or you
Yeah.
find out it wasn't Lee Harvey Oswald.
yeah.
There was a second shooter, so it still happens. So you can't change anything,
Or I mean, the world fucking sucks and people fucking suck anyways. What if not much even changed after you made it not happen?
I feel like no.
In a book that wouldn't really work, but like in reality,
I'm thinking even in reality, like the impact that Vietnam had on the United States is insane.
but what if it still happened though? Like, why would him being alive be the
Not
only reason
happen-
it didn't
yes,
happen?
Yes. I think our perception of it might be different.
Yeah,
Because I think there was a hard line drawn in Vietnam of you needed to be a patriot or you're a hippie that didn't like it.
yeah,
And there was no gray side. It was like, no, support your fucking country, or no, we're killing women and children with fucking flamethrowers. That's what the fuck is happening in Vietnam.
yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think that the Vietnam is what caused the first real like public eye to look against our own government, to be
Yeah.
like, the fuck are we doing?
Yeah,
What are we doing? Because in every war before that, we were like undoubtedly the good guys. You had the big bad British Empire. You had the big bad South that wanted slaves. Big bad Nazis. Big bad Italians. I forget what the actual like crisis was in World War One, but Archduke Ferdinand and all that. Anyways, what was the like conflict of World War One? Why was World War One so bad? Like, why were we all involved?
I really don't remember.
Like Hitler and the Nazis is like the stuff of fiction,
Yeah,
and we know how much you like Hitler. So
motherfucker. No.
all right. I don't know where I was going with that, but that was the punchline. All right. Do you have theories that you want to get into?
So
Or did you have something else to say about 11/22/16?
no, that was just like kind of a note I had. Was like, oh, was he already thinking about this or, so theories wise, I'm like trying to figure out what is the deal with like Sayer and the deal with Walter now, because I'm like thinking, Walter is not aligned with the Crimson King as much as we thought. He seems really perturbed by the top floor of the Dark Tower being empty.
He seems to use it as a threat too. Like,
Yeah.
if do we think that the Crimson King and Roland have the same goal to breach the Dark Tower, get to the top of it, and do whatever once you're there?
Yeah.
If the room is empty and it's pointless, like, might as well tear it down. Whatever. Do you think they have the same goal? Like, are they protagonist, antagonist quarterbacks? They have the same exact like arsenal. What they're trying to do is the same goal, but one loses.
Well, I mean, I think that Roland wants to like restore and fix like any damage that's been done to the tower. Like he wants to get there and go inside of it to keep anything bad from happening to it, because he doesn't want that darkness to come. So I don't think it's the same goal as the Crimson King. But, we don't exactly know what the Crimson King wants yet.
For sure.
Just that he very much wants to stop Roland.
Yes. He's aware of him.
Yeah.
He also has eyes everywhere.
Yeah.
I guess the bends of the rainbow are his eyes. Cool. He's got shit out there. There's Black 13.
That's a lot of eyes.
Yeah, 13. Too many eyes.
So, some big kind of bug fucker. Like,
It was a spider.
Yeah, that's true. We finally meet the Crimson King, and he's just like got a face full of eyes.
That's all he is. It's a eyes.
He's just like, he's like, oh well, yeah. There's only like 13 of the orbs because that's all I took out, but I've still got like 50.
Yeah. There was only 13 that I could do away with. The other 37 I really needed. Okay.
Yeah, like it's like, do you want one? Here you go.
We meet the Crimson King, and it's just Tim Curry's Pennywise. Have you seen the original miniseries?
I haven't seen the whole thing now.
Oh,
I've seen some of it,
worth
but
the 4 or 5 hours that is. It's fun. Seeing young Seth Green is fun.
yeah.
So, but the the library scene, he has like one of those little noisemakers. He's like riding a rail. That's my Crimson King. Okay, like everybody can imagine their own Jesus. I'm gonna imagine my own Crimson King. Okay, it's just a clown with a noisemaker.
Wee woo wee woo. Clack 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 clack.
Man, yeah, I feel like King either came up with a lot of his ideas in these like last 2 chapters, or he finally let us in on where these next 2 books are going. I feel like we got spoiler. I don't think it matters too much if you've seen the movie. The movie, people with the faces.
Mm-hmm.
Sayer has a fox face. Like,
Oh.
not the face of a fox, but a fox-like face.
Yeah.
I believe that's him trying to say he's a Taheen with a skin suit on.
Okay.
So I believe that gets revealed. Again, I have not read Songs of Susanna or The Dark Tower more than once. I read it my first time through, and I usually stop around this book.
Okay.
So I'm very, very.
They're that bad, huh?
No, I like it. It's just it's like
Nah,
you
I feel
know
ya.
the punch, and it all kind of leads up to the final couple scenes. Like what everything happens. So it's also usually about that time I'll get like a new Audible credit, and I would buy a new book and listen to that.
Right, yeah.
Like, I haven't listened to The Stand in a while. It's like a 45-hour book, so I can listen to that.
Yeah.
No, I haven't listened to it in a while. It's like a 31-hour book. I can listen to that.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go.
But yeah. Did you have anything else?
No, I think that was about it.
Okay. Yeah, I did very much enjoy this chapter. I got too much into reading to mark for a lot of that, but I think we covered it pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't think we did too bad.
I think we did a good job.
Let's see what we're gonna
Proud
read
of us.
here. 506, that's what, like 40 pages. Can we get all the way through this? chapter. Oh shit. Oh, they dug part 3. Oh no, part 2. We can do that. We can go from part 3, the wolves, to chapter 3, the Dogen, part 2.
So read chapters 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
Okay.
No, 1 and 2.
Just 1 and 2. Okay.
Yes. That'd be like 100 pages for me.
Right on.
Thanks about the pace that I set. Everything else go on in life. That'd be 81. I mean, yeah. Yeah, let's go ahead and read through 3, then and get to the Pied Piper. It's only like another 16 pages.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
should be able to do that. Oh yeah, I know this is just riveting content. Anyways, if you read it,
So yeah, we will cover part 3, chapters 1, 2, and 3 next time.
So Dark Tower Palaver does a thing where they go back and forth on subchapters on whose real goal it is to take notes on.
Okay.
I feel like trying that with maybe even one chapter here. You'd be like, okay, I'll do the evens, you do the odds, and we will take more extensive notes, more like highlighting notes. You know, like we can read through, and so we don't have to like sit here and really like tediously. Sometimes we mark the same things. You know.
Yeah.
You can still do like your recap if you want to do something like that. Like I do appreciate that. It helps us have some structure. But then like you would do one, which is only that far. Sometimes we end up doing a lot. But it would be a little bit interesting, I think, just an experiment to try it out and be like, okay, now I'm onto an even chapter. I really need to pay attention and take notes here, and it might help us kind of give a like tennis match style too. You know, like
Yeah.
you're talking about 5, I'm talking about 6. You're talking about 7, I'm talking about 8.
Okay.
Go back and forth. We can
Yeah.
you can still take notes on the other things. Just be like, it's not your responsibility to bring it up.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So, you want to try?
Sure.
Okay. Something good.
Fuck it, we ball.
Add some more goddamn what's the word? Some more structure to this podcast. You know, I've done like three real shows on this channel.
Yeah.
And I think this one has the most episodes. we have been going for like, has it been like almost 2 years? No, year and a half.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Okay, because we started. I was still in school. I think we started. No, was I only a junior in school?
I don't know. Let's.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
But you got our fucking socials. You know what our faces look like, so you can stalk us. But don't. But if you want to, join our Discord. And maybe follow our things. Anyways.
Oh, absolutely do that. Yeah.
Till next time. Good job.
Bye.
It's funny. Wave Master ass of the day, like.